Hello students, today in our botany session, we'll be stepping into one of the most important aspects. Yes, we'll be dealing about the last 33 years NEET questions. Topic wise, we'll be discussing it. So in my first session, I'll be discussing about the important questions in the +1, right? And in my next session, I'll be dealing it in +2 chapters. So as you all know, biology is a trump card for NEET exams. And +1 being the more basic subjects, you have to concentrate on certain subjects. Of course, you have to concentrate on all the subjects which is there in the textbook, but certain chapters needs more preparation. Some chapters will get questions directly from the book, as you all know, and some chapters you will be getting questions where you're supposed to use your brain. You use your sense of biological knowledge actually. So in this session, I'll be describing about the questions that has been asked, average, how much questions was asked in each and individual lessons, and also I'll be discussing about, for example, in living world, so how much questions was being asked. In plant morphology, how much questions was being asked. So at the end of the session, definitely this session will be an eye-opener for you all to give the preparation, right, for the individual topics, right. And first and foremost, I have to say is that you are supposed to prepare all the topics, but certain topics need a bit extra care. So we'll be discussing all these topics today. So, as you all know, the first lesson is going to be the living world. Actually, the first lesson is going to be the living world, and I'll be discussing what are the headings in that lesson also. Probably it is better, please do have your NCERT book with you so that you can also match the contents, what I'm saying. So the lesson is divided into 4 main categories. That is the what is living. Yes. In this, probably if you are a repeater or a +2 student, or you have just begun your +1 studies, just have your book or try to recollect what I'm saying. In this what is living content, probably you'll be having this paragraph, what is growth, what is reproduction, and what is metabolism and all. So that in that area you have got 3 questions, and please do ensure that the number what we have given over here is a cumulative of 33 years NEET biology questions, which was common almost. Say for example, there are some areas where you get repeated questions, that there are some areas in 10 years once we'll be getting some questions. We'll be discussing all those things. So as far as the living world is concerned, probably you are getting, or there are 38 questions has come in the span of 33 years. And the split up is that, see these split ups, the taxonomic categories. Of course, you know what are these taxonomic categories are. Again, I'm saying you, please do have your textbook with you or try to recollect the words what I'm saying. This taxonomic categories is what? Your kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, all those things. So from that content, we will be getting 13. We have got 13 questions actually. I'm sorry, we have got 13 questions from that particular sector. And on an average, probably you will be getting 1 questions in NEET exam, right? And on average, you will be getting 1 question in NEET exams actually. So you'll be getting 1 questions in NEET exams. So in this first unit, you have a lesson called as living world. Of course, you know the next lesson is going to be the biological classification, and the next lesson is going to be the plant kingdom, and the next lesson is going to be the animal kingdom. So in the living world, we have got 28 questions in the span of 33 years, and on an average, we get 1 questions from this lesson. And of course, by this time, do not have your assumption that I'll be studying only taxonomic aids in this lesson. No, being a biology student, do not have that assumption, right? See, saying the weightage, students should not focus like, okay, I'll be studying only taxonomic categories in this lesson. I'll be studying only this. No, do not have an assumption like that. See, there are some years we have got questions in what is living also, and there are some years we have got questions in the diversity also. So try to read the lesson entirely for getting nice marks in this. So from this lesson, we have got how many, we'll be getting how many questions on an average? 1 question on an average. So the next important lesson is going to be the biological classification. Of course, first see, in the span of 33 years, we have got 131 questions actually in the span of 33 years. And what are the subtopics we have? What are the subtopics we have? Of course, you have the introductory sector, you have Munera, Protista, fungi, plantae, animalia, and viruses actually. And from Animalia and Plantae, you will not be getting much questions from this lesson because, as you all know, being a NEET aspirant, there is a separate lesson called as Plant Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. So, what are the areas you are supposed to concentrate? You are supposed to concentrate more on Monera. Yes, we have got questions of how much? 47 questions. Again, I am saying you, please have an assumption. If you are watching this video right from the starting, probably you will be aware, right? This 47 questions we have got in a span of 33 years. And in a span of 33 years, we have got how many questions from biological classification? 131 questions we have got, and your major concentration should be in this lesson because we have got almost all years we have got questions from this lesson actually. And on an average, of course, you will be getting 3 to 4 questions from this lesson. That's what I told you, right? Every year, on an average, you will be getting 3 to 4 questions from this year. And again, I'm saying you, it can be from Monera, it can be from Protista. Do not assume that all the 3 questions will be from Monera or all the 3 questions will be from fungi. No, do not assume like that. So, try to recollect this. Living world, biological classification. Which lesson should be your first priority? Your first priority should be biological among these 2 lessons actually. Biological classification. On an average, yearly, we are getting how many questions from this lesson? 3 to 4 questions from this lesson. So, what's the next? It is going to be the plant kingdom. Actually, it is going to be the plant kingdom. Come on, see the previous thing. We have got 131 questions from this side. Whereas in terms of plant kingdom, we have got 137 questions in the span of 33 years. And of course, this is one of the most important lessons you are supposed to concentrate on, botany. And of course, you know, right, being a NEET aspirant, your biology has to be separated into 2. One is botany, the other is going to be zoology. And there are some biological topics also. For example, your biological classification is a biological concept, biological topic actually. Cell, the basic unit of life, is a biological concept where it can fit into both botany and zoology. Whereas in terms of plant kingdom, plant morphology, plant anatomy, plant physiology, all these things are typically a botany concept. In terms of zoology, it is human physiology, animal kingdom, structural organization, biomolecules, all these things are zoology concepts actually. So, plant kingdom. You are supposed to thorough this lesson entirely with all these segregations. We have specified from each and every topic how many questions has come in the span of 33 years. Probably that's what I've told you in the starting. Please do have your NCERT with your hand. See, introduction will be in the first topic in your textbook. Next is algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms. Then it is going to be the angiosperms and the life cycle, that is the alternation of generations. We have exclusively prepared in terms for the student welfare that in a span of 33 years, probably from gymnosperms alone, we have got how many questions in a span of 33 years? 36 questions we have got in this span of 33 years. And of course, botany is always meant for examples. You are supposed to thorough almost all the examples in this sector. On a rough average from this lesson, we'll be getting 3 questions per year. So, we'll be getting how many questions from here? 3 questions from here. Please do recollect the last lesson. You have to make a cumulative. See, roughly have an average, no? Probably in a year, you may get 3 questions, right? You may get 3 questions. From here, again, it's an average of 3 questions actually. So, try to recollect on an average how many questions and an average, right? So, from plant kingdom, we have got a question of 137 questions in a span of 33 years. And the next important concept is going to be the animal kingdom. Yes, of course, see 154 questions in this animal kingdom classification, that is right from your Monera to that of mammals. For example, Monera, or in terms of that biological classification we would have studied, right? Monera, Protista, Plantae, Fungi and Animalia. In terms of classification of animals, probably you can get it from Porifera, yeah, you can get it from Porifera to that of Mammalia. Yeah, come on, Poriferans, Coelorentrates, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Ascahelminthes, Annelids, Arthropods, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, Cephalochordata, Urochordata, your jawless fishes, spices, then amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. you will be getting questions from this sector, and we have got 154 questions from this lesson, and an average of, out of this span of 33 years, we have got how much? 164 questions from this lesson, and an average of 3 to 4 questions. Yes, on an average, we can expect 3 to 4 questions from this lesson. So, with this, your first unit is getting over, right? With that, say for example, with this, your first unit is getting over. What are those 4 lessons? It is going to be the living world, yes. It is going to be the biological classification. It is going to be the plant kingdom, and it is going to be the animal kingdom. So, these are the topics you are supposed to make a note of it. By this time, once this unit is over itself, on seeing the question, that is a span of 33 years question, if you just try to recollect it, you know which are the lessons you are supposed to give more importance. Again, I am saying you, each and every lesson is important in NEET. It's not like that you have to leave the living world and you are supposed to study animal kingdom more. No. You have to prioritize your lesson. First, you should complete animal kingdom, plant kingdom, biological classification. Then, of course, you are supposed to study what lesson also? Living world also. So, coming to the next unit, of course, the plant morphology, and this is one lesson. For example, you will be getting questions, say for example, on an average of 3 to 4 questions. Yes, on an average of 3 to 4 questions. And come on, especially the weightage is given to what? The flower content of that. What is the flower content? It is going to be the aestivation, and it is going to be the parts of gynoecium, all those things. The maximum weightage is given over there. And the next weightage is given to the fruits, say for example, the drupe, the berry, all those things, and of course the description of some important families. And you know all the 3 families, right? Fabaceae, come on, Solanaceae, and then it is going to be Liliaceae. So, in the span of 33 years from this lesson, of course, we have got how many questions? 115 questions we have got from this lesson. So, try to read this lesson, actually. Try to revise this lesson line by line so that, of course, you will be getting sure questions from these sectors. Even though the lesson is pretty bigger, we agree. But studying this lesson will always help you to fetch nice marks. So, the next lesson is going to be the anatomy of flowering plants. This lesson is pretty big, actually. Coming to the second unit, I can say plant morphology is also big, anatomy is also big. I won't deny the fact. But studying morphology will fetch you more marks, because in morphology you have got many questions every year. In terms of anatomy also, we have got some questions. On an average, probably from anatomy you may get 3 questions. But again, see the span of 33 years range, we have got how many questions? 95 questions. Whereas in terms of plant morphology, it was 115, and of course in terms of plant kingdom, it was how much? 137. So try to recollect these topics, or try to revise these topics, right? Again and again, I'm insisting you, we are not saying to leave any of the topics in biology. You're supposed to prioritize this lesson. That's what we are saying. You're supposed to prioritize it. So this is what is the description of morphology of flowering plants, which is being followed by the anatomy of flowering plants. In this, again, I can say you have to supposed to study the, you have to give more importance towards the difference between the monocot and dicot stem, root, and then leaf. Probably you are supposed to study on that. And of course the tissues, you know, right, the meristematic tissues, the permanent tissues, the complex tissues, the simple permanent tissues, you are supposed to read, emphasize on that also. And of course, the structural organization in animals, in a span of 33 years, we have got how many questions? 87 questions. Actually, we have got how many questions? 87 questions. And initially, it was with cockroach. Initially, it was with earthworm and frogs. And of course, you know, probably these portions are not now. And of course, from the tissues, the epithelial tissues, right? The epithelial tissues, actually. What are these epithelial tissues? What are the animal tissues? Your epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous tissues. You are supposed to specify in terms of epithelial tissues, your squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium. In terms of connective tissue, you must speak about blood, bone and cartilage. And in terms of muscles, it should be voluntary and involuntary muscles. And in terms of nerves, it should be of neurons. And in terms of cockroach anatomy, of course, you should study about the digestive system, the external morphology of that. All these lessons you are supposed to make a note of it. And coming to the second unit of the biology, that is biology, 2 lessons will be from botany and this will be from what? Zoology. So, coming to the third unit, that is, say for example, it is going to be the third unit and it's going to be the chapter 8, any biology entrance exams of that sort, you will definitely get a question in terms of the cell, the basic unit of life, because this is one of the very basic lesson. In any of the entrance exams, actually, you will be getting questions in terms of the cell, the basic unit of life. And in a span of 33 years, we have got how many questions? You have got 128 questions. Yes, you have got 128 questions. And in terms of this lesson, we have got an average of 3 to 4 questions, and your main weightage should be in this eukaryotic cells in terms of your Golgi apparatus, in terms of your mitochondria, in terms of your plastids, all these things where you're supposed to give more weightage to that part. Again, I'm saying you, see, in a lesson, 107 questions is from prokaryotic cell. So it's not meant that you should not study this overview of cell, you should not study the cell theory. No, do not have an assumption like that. There are some years we have got questions from this alone, and there are some years we have got questions from this topics alone. So do not scrutinize like this. So 107 questions, so I have to concentrate only on the eukaryotic pages of that. No, do not do that. Take a lesson, read it thoroughly, read it line by line, right? So that you will get an idea how to prepare it. We are just showing you what are the topics in a lesson you are supposed to concentrate, and what are the lessons in a unit you are supposed to give more concentration. That's what we say, no? Try to prioritize your lessons, prioritize it. What do you mean by prioritize? Giving importance to that. In terms of the last unit, no, the second unit, what was the lesson you are supposed to give prioritize to it? First is morphology, next is anatomy, the next is going to be what? Structural organization, and this lesson on average we get 3 to 4 questions. And the next lesson is going to be the biomolecules. Of course, this lesson will be of a pretty dry lesson. I can say it is going to be pretty dry lesson, I can say. But some way or the other, it has been compensated from the biochemistry, which is, biomolecules, which is there in chemistry also. And this lesson, of course, yeah, it should, you have some questions in terms of the initial part of that, the analysis of chemical composition. That is, you take a dry cloth, you just put it in you crush a living tissue, you just take the extract or all these things, acid soluble, and all these things are the chemical constituent topics. I'm just recollecting the headings which has been over there. So try to read that. And coming to that, see, the structure of proteins in a span of 33 years, we have got how many questions? We have got 90 questions from this lesson. So on an average of this biomolecules lesson, of course, we have got 2 questions. On an average, we have got how many questions? We have got 2 questions from this lesson. And the next lesson, which is very smaller, right? Easy to revise. It's a very small lesson. And we have got a question of how much? In a span of 33 years, we have got a question of how much? It is going to be 59 questions. Seema, the topics what we have written is exactly there in an NCERT. We have just made like that what is there exactly in the NCERT. So try to recollect this, and of course in the M phase, that is the mitotic phase, mitotic phase, your prophase, anaphase, telophase, metaphase, all these, from all these phases, of course you will be getting questions. On an average from this lesson, you will be getting 2 questions for the NEET exams. So this comes your third unit, that is going to be the chapter 10. And in this unit, the weightage is going to be what? The weightage is going to be your cell, the basic unit of life, biomolecules, and then this lesson. So what are the next 2 topics? The next 2 topics are going to be plant physiology and human physiology. Coming to our plant physiology, the transport in plants is concerned. Of course, physiology is one lesson where, of course, you're supposed to study the entire lessons because there are some connectivity over here. So in terms of transport of plants, of course, see, in means of transport, we have got 3, plant-water relationship 9, long distance transport 8, and in terms of transpiration, your transpiration pull, cohesion adhesion theory. From there, we have got 24 questions in a span of 33 years, and uptake of minerals 3, and the phloem transport. Yes, the phloem transport, we have got 9 questions, and in a span of 33 years, we have got how many questions? 56 questions. And on an average, of course, in transport and plants, you may get 1 to 2 questions. On an average, you will be getting 1 to 2 questions. So what's the next lesson? Mineral nutrition. Actually, in terms of mineral nutrition, of course, you can see, the essentials of mineral elements. Say, for example, your micronutrients, your macronutrients, the role of micro and macronutrients, the deficiency diseases. From this chapter, from this topics, you can get n number of questions in this lesson, and it is the mechanism of absorption. You can get one. We have got very rarely questions. And in terms of nitrogen metabolism, that is your nitrogen cycle, your biological nitrogen fixation, the formation of root nodules. From these topics, we have got 21 questions from this lesson in a span of 33 years. And of course, on the whole of 33 years, we have got how many questions? 54 questions. And in terms of this mineral nutrition lesson, of course, you can get 1 to 2 questions per. Say on an average, we will be getting 1 or 2 questions. The next is going to be photosynthesis in higher plants, and again, it is one of the most important lessons. You can say among the in the early experiments, say for example, Moll's half-leaf experiment, Presley experiment, Bell jar experiment, we got 4 questions. Where does photosynthesis takes place? 1. What are the pigments involved, like the chlorophyll A, B, all those things? We have got 9 questions. Light reaction, see this electron transport chain and NADH and ATP, that is your cycles. You could have got questions from the cycles, of course, and you have the C4 pathway. Come on, it is going to be the 24 questions from this C4 pathway, which is you have the diagrams over there, you have a float, or you have a diagrammatic representation over there in the textbook. Try to recollect that, try to read that properly, and of course you'll be getting questions from the photorespiration. Yes, and factors affecting photosynthesis. We have got 6 questions, and in an average of 33 years, we have got how many questions? We have got 91 questions, and from this photosynthesis in higher plants, on an average, you will be getting 2 questions. So, try to channelize your study time. Try to channelize your study time. So if I'm taking this lesson, I have to concentrate on all these topics. So if I take this lesson, I have to recollect all these topics. I have to scrutinize all these lessons. I have to recollect the questions in this way, right? So try to put more emphasis on the lessons where you get more questions actually, right? And the next is going to be what? Respiration in plants. And this is one lesson, right? You have more cycles in that. You have this glycolysis, you have this TCA, you have this electron transport chain, all these things. In glycolysis, see 6 questions. Fermentation, see 6 questions. And this aerobic respiration, that is going to be TCA or citric acid cycle. We have got 20 questions. The balance sheet 11, amphibolic pathway 7, and the respiratory quotient is going to be how much? For in a span of these years, we have got how many questions? 54 questions we have got. By this time, what are the topics has to be given more importance. It is going to be what? Aerobic respiration. And in terms of respiration in plants, you will be getting how many questions? 1 question. And from this lesson, you will be getting these kinds of like equations. The flow charts, right? Glycolysis, glucose 6-phosphate is converted to, or what is the next product of alpha ketoglutarate, like that you may get some questions. And the next lesson is going to be plant growth and development. In a span of 33 years, we have got 92 questions, and the maximum weightage was given to an area of this plant growth regulators, your auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, ethylene and abscisic acid. And we have next priority, the next important area, the next important topic is going to be the photoperiodism. It is going to be the long day plant, short day plant, critical period, all those things. And it is going to be the veneralization and seed dormancy. And growth, we have got 2 questions. So in a span of 33 years, we have got 1 to 2 questions from this lesson. So if this is a content of plant physiology, we will be moving on to the next content called as human physiology. Of course, you can understand that now we are stepping into the zoology sector of the typical zoology sector of that. Already in first unit, you have a typical zoology lesson called as animal kingdom. Yes, even though the living world or other stuff is also there, but there are some areas which is typically zoology. There are some areas which is typically botany, right? So it is going to be the animal kingdom in the first unit. It is going to be the structural organization in the second unit, and the human physiology is one full unit where one full topics which is exclusively demands the zoology attention, right? So digestion and absorption. Come on, see here, you have got the span of 33 years, you have got 92 questions in terms of digestive system. Say for example, your peristaltic movement, your, say for example, what happens to the food in mouth, so what is the type of dentation we have, what is about villi, all those things, we have got 30 questions. And in terms of digestion of food, actually, so you have the digestion of food, the complex molecule are converted to simple ones, the enzymes, for example, pepsin, trypsin, and nucleotidase, nucleosidase, succus entericus, all these, the enzymes, how the food has been digested, your crypts of liberquin, the microvilli, all these areas where you can get questions from this sector. Of course, the absorption of digested food in this area, of course, the villi, the crypts of liberquin, and of course, disorders. One thing students, keep that in mind in terms of human physiology, your disorders are very important in almost all systems. You take your respiratory, breathing, body fluids and circulation, excretory products and their elimination, all these lessons will definitely have the disorders in them where you're supposed to make a note of it. Equally, see, the content equally is being distributed even to diseases also. So on an average, from this lesson, you will be getting 2 questions. And the next is going to be breathing and exchange of gases. In this area, see the mechanism of breathing. You have got 13 questions. What is this mechanism of breathing? Your inspiration, your expiration, your tidal values, yes, your respiratory values, your respiratory capacities, all these things you're supposed to concentrate. In terms of the respiratory organs, probably recollect the book, the respiratory organs from the invertebrates you could have given. Say for example, frog respires through skin, cockroach respires through the tracheal systems, or any other steps regarding to that of respiration you could have given. So that is the respiratory organs part, and this mechanism of breathing, your inspiration, expiration, especially you are supposed to give more concentration on the respiratory respiratory capacities and volumes, actually your tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, residual volume, is supposed to give more concentration on that. And of course your exchange of gases and the transport of gases, which comprises of your O2 and CO2. Please do take the content. You could have given the sigmoidal curve. What are the factors which is needed for formation of oxyhemoglobin? What are the factors which is needed for the dissociation of oxyhemoglobin? You could have given in that transport of gases page. You can refer that and you can concentrate more on that. And of course, the regulation of respiration. Regulation. See, regulations in terms how does the brain controls your respiration from that topic. And span of 33 years, we have got how many questions? 38 questions. On a rough average, you may expect 2 questions from this sector. Body fluids and circulation. In this lesson, see, the maximum weightage is being distributed to a topic called as the circulatory pathways. Probably you could have studied, right? The pulmonary circulatory, like systemic circulation, where the blood goes from the lungs, where the blood grows, what are the valves present, those are the pathways which you can. For the blood topic, again, it is a 41 questions, you can make a note of it. Even in structural organization lesson also, there is a tissue called as connective tissue. Even blood is also a connective tissue. From that topic also, you may get questions. And in your body fluids and circulation also, from blood, you will be getting some questions. RBC, the other name of RBC, WBC, platelets, all those stuff are some maximum weightage questions. In terms of lymph, you could have got 6. In terms of double circulation is 17. Cardiac activity and diseases, disorders. In a span of this, we have got how many questions? 91 questions actually. So 91 questions we have got on an average of 33 years. And this body fluids and circulation, of course, you will be getting 2 questions from this lesson. Excretory products and their elimination. Excretory product, your kidney, right? In this lesson, of course, you're supposed to, the introductory part of that. The introductory part is that, again, I can say, please do take your book and see, like they could have given about the excretory system right from the invertebrates. How does an annelids excrete? See by nephridia. Then how does an arthropods excrete? How does an snail excretes? Aquatic animals, what is that? What are the animals which excretes urea? What are those animals which excretes uric acid? There are some animals which excretes ammonia. These are the introductory topics where you can get maximum number of questions. And of course, the human respiratory system. Urine formation is 1. Function of tubules, your PCT, DCT, you may get questions, and the concentration of that you will be getting 3, and the regulation. Come on, what is the regulation? JGA cells and all those things you can get a question. Again, right from the starting I have told this. If you are a beginner, please do have your NCERT in your hand. If you are a NEET aspirant, of course try to recollect all these things in your brain or just refer the textbook. And the maturation is 6, and disorders you have got 4 questions. On the average of 33 years, we have got how many questions? 49 questions. And of course, from this lesson also on average, you get how many questions? 2 questions. Locomotion and movement. Of course, this lesson again, students say, for example, they have to concentrate on muscles or bones. Again, I'm saying you concentrate on both, right? Concentrate on both in that the muscle, yes. You have 14 questions. Yes, you have your, say for example, the A band, the H band, the actin, the myosin, the contractibility. You may get questions on that. And in terms of skeletal system, of course, you know, the axial and appendicular skeletal systems. And finally, with joints and disorders, we get 5 questions. And in a span of 33 years, we have got how many questions? 49 questions. And from this lesson, that is going to be your locomotion and movement. We have got 1 to 2 questions on average. Neural coordination, come on, you can say next to that of your body fluids and circulation, the some amount of questions we have got in the span of 33 years in neural coordination and control. So in this is the split up of the topics. Say for example, neural system 11, neurons 19 questions, then central neural system or nervous system it is 10. For example, it is going to be the system, it is going to be 10, the reflex action, it is going to be 10, and the sensory perception and processing, your sense organs, we have got 27 questions. So try to recollect this lesson, and in a span of 33 years, of course, we have got 2 questions from this lesson. You may get the diagrammatic questions in terms of your neurons, you may get questions like that also. Of course, the last lesson is going to be the chemical coordination and integration. Of course, from this lesson, come on, the human endocrine system, your hormones, your pituitary, your pineal gland, your thyroxine, pancreas, adipose tissue, all these things you're supposed to concentrate on much, and of course you get 60, you have got 60 questions from that. The hormones of heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract is 6 questions, and the mechanism of hormone action, it is going to be the 13 questions we have got, and in a span of 33 years, we have got 80 questions from this lesson and 1 question from the introductory sector. And from this chemical coordination and control, you will be getting 3 questions. So, coming to the human physiology sector, see, from chemical coordination, 80 questions, neural, it was 70, and for locomotion movement, 49, and excretory product, it is 49 again, and body fluids is 91, breathing is 38, and digestion is going to be 92. Probably now you can understand the series of questions which they have asked in almost all topics in terms of your human physiology. So with this, the +1 content is coming to an end. So by this eye-opener session, I think so you got an idea what are the topics that has to be given more attention in a chapter, and what are the units that has to be given more prioritization in terms of your NEET preparation. Try to scrutinize the lessons. Say for example, in terms of first unit, try to recollect plant kingdom, animal kingdom and biological classification. In terms of your second unit, plant morphology, see, scrutinize this lesson. Again, I'm saying you, I'm not saying you to leave any lessons in biology, right? So it's not like that from living world you get only 1 question, you are supposed to leave the lesson. No, it's not like that. You're supposed to prioritize the lessons. You're supposed to prioritize those lessons and try to emphasize more on the lessons which have got more questions, right? Probably this gives you an idea how to segregate the questions, how to prepare your topics in terms of your biology. Probably in our next class, we'll be dealing this split up like this for our +2 topics also. Thank you, students. Now we'll be discussing about the question weightage in terms of our +2 topics. Yes. So The first lesson being the reproduction of organism, and this lesson is a very small lesson actually, just small and an easier lesson actually. And the split up, say for example, in terms of asexual reproduction, we got 13 questions, and in terms of sexual reproduction, we have got how many questions? 15 questions. And from the introduction, we have got what? 1 questions, and a span of 33 years, we have got 29 questions from this lesson. Probably in terms of asexual reproduction, you know, right? Your budding, your fragmentation, fission, all those things, you can make a note of it. And in terms of this lesson, on an average, 1 to 2 questions you can expect. And the next lesson is going to be another important lesson in terms of the botany, in terms of your +2. It is going to be the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. See the questions, it is 122 questions we have got from this lesson. And the major weightage being this pre-fertilization events. Say for example, the male gametes, the anther, stigmantha, the carpel, the pollination aspects, all those things. In terms of double fertilization, you have got 13 questions. The post-fertilization events, we have got 16 questions. In terms of your seed formation, in terms of your albuminaceous and exalbuminaceous seeds, we have got a question. And in the span of 33 years, we have got 122 questions from this lesson, and we have got nearly an average of 3 to 4 questions from this lesson. And the zoology part of your +2 is that of human reproduction. Again, you have got 103 questions in terms of the span of 33 years. In this, see the fertilization and implantation, your morula, the way the zygote has been implanted, all those things gets more weightage. Menstrual cycle 24, gametogenesis 14, male reproductive part is of 14, and especially your Sertoli cells, then why testis is located outside the body cavity. These are some expected questions which you can get. And in terms of the female reproductive part, it is the 4. The pregnancy and embryonic development, say for example, the the layers, the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endome, the hormones, the HCG. All these things has got a weightage of 15 questions, and your parturition is of 6 questions, and an average of you have got how many questions in the span of 33 years? 103 questions we have got in the span of this 33 years, and a rough average, of course, from this lesson also you will be getting 3 to 4 questions. Yeah. The next is of reproductive health. Actually, this is again a very small lesson actually. Very small lesson. It is very easy to revise actually. And in this of population explosion, we have got some questions. Your sexually transmitted diseases, and in terms of infertility, your ICSI, your GIFT, ZIFT, all those things we have got questions. And in terms of reproductive health, we have got 4 questions. In a span of 33 years, we have got how much questions? 46 questions. And in this, from this lesson, of course, you can get 2 questions on an average. So this is your first unit of your, I can say this unit comprises of your botany 2 lessons and zoology 2 lessons, right? And the chapter 27 is going to be the principles of variation and inheritance, and it is one of the most important topic which is to be dealt in botany. Yes, you see the weightage, the inheritance of 1 gene has got 39 questions, the inheritance of 2 genes has got 41 questions, that is the monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross, right? Mendelian law of inheritance, your pleiotropy, your sex determination, genetic disorders, come on, the genetic disorders, your Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome, your ploidy, all these things has to be done carefully. And the mutation, of course, we have got 2 questions. On the span of 33 years, we have got 179 questions, the most highly weightage topic in terms of botany. I can say it is going to be principles of inheritance and variation. And from this lesson, of course, you can get an average of 5 to 6 questions from this lesson. See, even though this lesson is bigger, studying this lesson is worth, because the content what you have studied is, the content what you study will be directly transformed into questions. So studying this lesson will always fetch you nice marks. The other important lesson which you are supposed to be mentioned is that molecular basis of inheritance in terms of your botany. So in this DNA, 29 questions, this search of genetic material, say for example, your Hershey's experiment, Griffith experiment, your RNA world, replication, transcription, your promoter, initiator, terminator, you have got 37 questions, genetic code 29, translation is 15, and the gene regulation is going to be 20. Your Lacopron concepts, it is going to be 20. Your human genome project and DNA fingerprinting, On the whole, we have got how many questions? 160 questions from this lesson in the span of 33 years. And the molecular basis of inheritance, you could have got a question of 4 questions from this sector. Evolution. In this lesson, evolution, of course, you're supposed to concentrate more on this lesson, right? So in this lesson, what is the weightage? What is the split up? I can say origin of life is 14. The evolutionary life forms 2. The evidence of evolution, your homologous and analogous organs, your adaptive radiation 9, biological evolution 15, mechanism of evolution 4, Hardy-Weinberg principle, your your stabilizing, directional, all these curves, Hardy-Weinberg equation, all these things has to be covered. Your brief account of evolution and origin and evolution of man, that is the human evolution. Your Homo habilis, Neanderthal man, all these things has to be given weightage on an average of 33, on a span of 33 years. We have got how many questions? 141 questions. And from evolution lesson, of course, we will be getting 3 questions from the part. Human health and diseases is of strictly, you can go for this lesson as zoology lesson. And this lesson is again an easy going lesson where you can convert into marks. Of course, being a science student, you know what is the cause and reason for any of the diseases which you specify. The common disease in humans, it is 47. Say for example, it is going to be viral, bacterial, fungal, protozoan diseases. Immunity 8, AIDS 8, cancer 8 questions, and drugs and alcoholic abuse is 16. And we have got 104 questions in the span of 33 years. On an average, of course, you will be getting 3 questions. On an average, of course, you will be getting 3 to 4 questions from this lesson. Strategies for enhancement of food production. And this lesson involves, this lesson involves of plants, some animals, and you have this tissue cultures. So, it is going to be 24 from the animal husbandry, the livestock, poultry, all those stuffs. Your plant breeding devices, say for example, germ plasm collection, then green revolution, all these things like single cell proteins and tissue cultures of 15. And we have got a question span of, we have got a question of 75 questions in a span of 33 years. And of course, in terms of this lesson, you may, on an average, it was 2 to 3 questions we have got. Microbes in human welfare. This lesson is a very small lesson. You all know, right? It's a very small lesson where you can convert it to 2 marks. Of course, the topics has to be covered is household products 4, industrial products 25, sewage 6, production of biogas 9, biocontrol agent 16, and biofertilizers is going to be 24. On a rough average, we get 84 questions in a span of 33 years, and of course we can expect on an average 3 questions from this lesson. And the next 2 lessons, which is going to be the biotechnology principles and applications, and biotechnology, that is one lesson is biotechnology and its principles, the other lesson is going to be biotechnology and applications. In terms of this biotechnology and principles of biotechnology 11, tools of recombinant DNA technology, your enzymes, your plasmids, all those things, the process of recombinant DNA making, your competent cell preparation, your PCR, then your gel electrophoresis, and your downstream processing, all these things, areas you are supposed to concentrate. And it was 83 questions on a rough we have got in this 33 years of NEET exams. And from this rough average, you can get 2 to 3 questions on an average. Principles and its application. Again, this lesson is again an easy lesson, which I can say. It's a very easy lesson. It's again a small lesson actually. This is biotechnology and its applications in agriculture. Your BT, your RNA interferase I, all those things has to be done. In terms of medicine, it is going to be the insulin. Gene therapy has to be given more concentration in that. Your transgenic animals and that part. Then in terms of ethical issues, your biopiracy, biopatent, and of course, in terms of this 53 questions we have got from this lesson. The next, the ecology unit. In terms of ecology unit, it is going to be organism and population, ecosystem, biodiversity and conservation, and environmental issues. From this unit, from organism and population, of course, you get 93 questions. 44 from organism and its environment, and population interaction, it is 49. always try to deal the subject like this now. If it is organism and population, from organism it is 44, its environment and its population it is 49, and an average from this lesson we have got how many questions? 2 questions we have got this from this lesson. Ecosystem, your food chain, food web, all these things from this lesson we have got 72 questions in a span of 33 years. And of course introduction 1, your ecosystem structure and function 5, productivity 13, your decomposition, your fragmentation, mineralization 6, your energy flow, primary consumers, tertiary consumers, all those things, your ecological pyramids, ecological succession, nutrient cycling, that is your carbon cycle, your phosphorus cycle. Then in terms of ecosystem services 1, so 72. On an average you may get 2 to 3 questions from this lesson. And the biodiversity and its conservation, the lesson has to be exactly distributed into 2. One is biodiversity, the other is going to be conservation. So 35 questions from biodiversity and 32 questions is from the biodiversity conservation. Of course, we have got 67 questions on an average of 33, on a span of 33 years, and on an average, of course, you can get 2 to 3 questions. And the last lesson is going to be the environmental issues. So if you see here, among these 3 lessons, environmental issues plays a very vital role in terms of your preparation. In terms of this introduction, it is 7, air pollution and control 27, water pollution 37, solid waste 1, radioactive waste 7, greenhouse 16, then ozone depletion 20, degradation 1, afforestation 8. On the whole, you have got 126 questions, and on average, we would have got 3 questions from this sector. So, try to scrutinize your lessons, give prioritize to some lessons, and there are some lessons which is pretty easier where you can easily convert into marks. For example, in +1, living world, first unit, cell cycle, right? In terms of your +2, your reproduction on organism, it's a very small lesson again. Your reproductive health, microbes in humans, your biotechnology and its applications, your biodiversity and its conservation. These are some small lessons where you can easily study and you easily convert into marks. And there are some lessons where it is pretty bigger and that lesson needs more weightage also. So of course, in this eye-opener session, we have given a detailed explanation about each and every topics in a chapter. So probably in next class, we'll be dealing some interesting topics. Thank you.